Hi guys, this episode of the Lewis Saving Video Podcast is brought to you as always by Joe Rogan and the JRE, Joe Rogan Experience Podcast. Without Joe, I would not have thought about doing this podcast. You can listen to his comedy on Spotify. You can watch his comedy special on Netflix. And you can listen to his podcast on iTunes. And you can watch his podcast on YouTube. I am not sponsored by Joe. Also, I'm going to grab the can. You guys got way too close to my face. I'm sure that made you... I'm giving you vertigo at this point, I'm sure. Stop moving! Sorry, I thought I had the can sitting next to me. I didn't. I had it sitting over there. Also brought to you as a huge thank you to Zions. The only energy drink I drink. 0 calories, 0 sugar, no crash, no jitters. The great tasting 0 calorie energy drink. Real energy for real people. The unique formula that gives you the hashtag power2. Today I'm drinking mango guava. As per usual, it's not open. Not yet anyway. I am not sponsored by either of these companies. If they wish to sponsor me, that would be great. I'm also not sponsored, but would like to bring up Sling TV. Sling TV, bring back your TV. Because of Sling, I am now able to watch all of my sports. I'm able to watch ESPN, able to watch Fox Sports Detroit, my Red Wings. I'll be able to watch baseball when it comes back on in less than a week. Or is it at 10 days? It's either a week or 10 days, something like that. Just thought I'd give you guys a little shout out there. I am not sponsored by Sling. I do have one sponsor, and that is Fox. They're not given here. They're not given there. They're not given anywhere on this podcast. I'm not sponsored by either any of the three companies. I am, however, sponsored by Fox. Today, we're going to discuss whatever the fuck I want. I'm kidding. No, I do have some things I want to talk about. I want to talk about something Colin Cowherd just said less than 5 minutes ago, which made me want to slap him. We're going to discuss the NFL layout. What's going on currently in the NFL. We're going to discuss the Super Bowl. We're going to discuss this team that played in the Super Bowl. I know, unless you watched the game, you didn't know they were actually playing, and that's the Atlanta Falcons. No, I'm not going to talk about the Patriots that much. You know why? One, fuck the Patriots, and two, every news outlet in the world that covered that talked about the Patriots, but didn't know anything about the Falcons. So we're not going to talk much about the Patriots. We're going to talk a little bit about college football, some of the things going on. And you know what? I might give you the first 10 picks. Actually, I think they hold number 12. So I'll give you the first few picks that I think off the top of my head. Again, this isn't a permanent thing. This won't be, that's the guy I think they're going to take, and I'm going to stick with it. Now, I'm probably going to change my mind 3-4 times. I mean, watch what I did. Look what I did last year. I said that, who was it? I said the Cowboys were going to take Joey Bosa. I eventually changed my mind and was like, well, they could use a pass rusher, but they'll probably take Zeke Elliott. What happened there? Now, there's some people that are going to watch this and go, you also said this. I'm not saying I'm always right. I'm just saying I'm able to come up with some basic thought processes and be able to formulate this thing called a hypothesis of who you're probably going to pick, otherwise known as an educated guess. All right, let's crack this baby open. Okay, let's start with what Colin just said. Colin Cowherd just came on. He's been on now. He's going into hour number 3, I believe. Something like that. Anyway, I sat down. I don't normally take a lot of what he says for granted. A lot of stuff he says is stupid, especially now that he's with Chip. Or whatever the fuck his name is. Bayless. Skip Bayless. That's what it is, Chip. Regardless, moron. A complete moron. And then he's with Shannon Sharp, who I used to have respect for, not anymore. And, he guest spots on their show, and those two are complete morons. And now that he started guest starring, Colin started saying some shit that makes you go, did you think before you opened your mouth? Here's one of them. The Cleveland Browns should trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, they do need a quarterback, I mean, okay, they could use a quarterback. They've got RG3 who's injury prone, but I don't know about Garoppolo. They should give their first 3 picks. Hell, maybe both first rounds this year, second round this year, and a first rounder next year. I'm sorry, did that just come out of your fucking mouth? If I was in charge of the Browns, I'm going, it's a good thing you're not. There's a reason you don't trade something like that to somebody who's played in. I have it pulled up actually. He's played in 17 games total his whole career. Well, this year he proved that he could be a starter. Really? In 17 games played, he started 2. His career stats, he is 63 for 94. That's 67%. He has where's the touchdown? 5 touchdowns and no interceptions. Well, that's fantastic. He's been sacked 8 times. Here's something I'd like to bring up. This past year, in the 2 games that he played, the 6 he's played, 2 started, he was 43 for 63. That's not bad. 68%. 10.5 yards per game. Or sorry, attempts per game. And he was at 502 yards, 8 average, 83.7 per game, 4 touchdowns. Not bad. Except for that little part where you go, he plays for the Patriots. Patriots have a decent offensive line. He's got weapons that are veteran players. And he was under Belichick. Okay. Now, a lot of people are going, you're just coming up with excuses now. No, I'm laying out a plan here to discuss how I would go about this. So, you proved to me that you can play in Belichick's system. Cool. Hugh Jackson's not Belichick. So, let me get this straight. He plays just fine under Bill Belichick in a system where it's a lot of check downs and short passes and not a lot of big bombs. Well, I don't know that much about Hugh Jackson, but I'm going to take an educated guess and say that when you're down 45-10, he's not going to have you throw it 10 yards and hope that the guy can get some yardage after the pass. No, he's going to have you throwing 50-yard passes, trying to get down the field. And as we've seen from Belichick's system, that's not how he does things. And so I don't know if Garoppolo's got that great of an arm, to be perfectly honest with you. Now, again, a lot of people are going to come back at me and go, you're just speaking nonsense. No, I'm bringing up some serious thoughts here. In the 3 years, I don't have enough tape on him. I'm not interested. I am especially not interested for my first rounder this year, my another first rounder this year, and a second rounder this year. Or, let's see, any first rounders at all. They have 2 second round picks. If I gave you a second rounder, okay, I'll give you my late second rounder. To be exact, the Browns actually have, let me pull this up real quick. They have, what picks to come on? Real fucking helpful. Oh, and now it's going to send me to an ad. No, fuck off. Bleacher Report. Let's see if that gives me what I'm looking for. Oh, no, that's a mock draft. I'm not interested in that. Sorry, I'm trying to find the exact picks. I know the number. They have 13 picks overall. I'm trying to give you what numbers they have. It's like 1, 12. Really easy if I could just pull this up. Of course, then again, that would, be too simple. I don't want you to be able to just pull it up. Here we go. They have the first pick, the 12th pick, 33rd pick. Or sorry, first pick, 33rd pick in the second round. In the second, oh, sorry, that was the overall pick. My bad. Sorry, they have this laid out weird. First pick, 12th pick, 33rd, 20th pick in the second round, which is 52. They have the 65th overall. They have the no pick in the fourth round. They have the 128th, the 158th, the 159th, and no pick in the seventh round. So I would give you, for Garoppolo, I might give you the 52nd pick. Maybe. Now, why am I not interested in Garoppolo? Like I said, I'm not really sure about his actual ability. Now, in those games, he's also rushed. That's something else that people are going to bring up. I know that. The 2 games he started, he had 10 attempts at 1.7 yards per carry, per game, and a total of 6 yards per game, so a total of 6 yards, averaging a 6th per yard, and he has no touchdowns. His longest run is 10 yards. That's in his career. So, not the most mobile guy. Now, again, I have watched some tape on that, and a lot of people are going to go, well, he's kind of mobile. And I agree with you. He's decent. He'd be what I'd put in a balanced quarterback type of bracket. He can run. I just don't want him to. For 2 reasons. 1, he's not the fastest guy. 2, he's my quarterback, and I don't like it when quarterbacks run that much. That's a running back's job. Am I saying that I don't want you to scramble and pick up some yards? Sure. But when you see, like Andrew Luck run 25 yards for a first down and slides, well, weird slide thing he does. 2 thoughts come to mind. 1 is, well, you're my quarterback. I don't want to see you do that. 2 is, great, you picked up some yardage. And 3 is, what if you get hurt because you're running? Well, fuck, now I got to go to my backup quarterback. Well, in the case of the Browns, your backup could be anybody from any university anywhere because the Browns don't have anybody worth a shit on their roster. Right now, I think it's Kessler, who's okay, from University of Southern California, even if he did go to Southern Cal. It's either Kessler or the kid from Stanford, which would be Hogan. His last name's Hogan. I can't think of his first name. Either of those guys, I believe, are their backup. And to be honest with you, not real great talent on the entire roster to begin with. But, would I really want to put a game in their hands? No. So that's my thoughts on Garoppolo. I really don't think that anybody should trade for him at all. I mean, feel free, but I'm not giving you my first round picks for a guy I know nothing about. Now, when it comes to the picks that the Browns have, because they have the first overall pick, there are rumors that they're going to trade it away. I don't think they should. I think they should get Myles Garrett. I'll explain that later. But I think that's who they should take with their first round. Not Mitch Trubisky or whatever the fuck his name is. And I've been doing some research, and people are like, well, you're a Notre Dame fan. You'll take Kaiser. I wouldn't take Kaiser if you paid me. But if he came free, I would still get rid of him. I don't like him. Liked him at the University of Notre Dame. He was a decent kid, but he's got a lot of question marks. I went over that already, so I'm not going to. In a different video, where I don't think he's got the arm. I'll probably cover it again, eventually, if not in this video. Now, of course, Deshaun Watson comes to mind. I don't know if he'll be there, and personally, I don't know. I'll cover that in a minute. Anyway, it comes to the draft. So they have 1 and 12, and Deshaun Watson is kind of the guy that everyone says they're going after. I'm not so sure about that. Reason. So Watson shows that he has good mobility in the pocket. He's got decent pocket presence. He's got a decent arm with decent accuracy. He's a guy that I think falls in the category of what I would like for certain teams. I call it more of a distributor. I don't need you to be this stellar quarterback with a golden arm that can throw it 900 yards and can sprint down the field. I don't need you to be Andrew Luck, basically. I don't need you to be able to gun it as far as you can. I don't need you to be able to run and move out of the pocket like Rodgers. I'm looking for a guy who can get the ball out, and if I need you to, can scamper for 4 or 5 yards. I think Watson falls under that. Not the fastest guy, not slow, but not the fastest guy. We'll see what his actual 40 time is coming up next month at the Combine. His arm is pretty good. I'd like to see a little more accuracy. He had some interceptions this year that were just scary. Now, am I saying that, oh, well, he had 1 year where he threw some interceptions? I love when the draft analyst guys do that. Well, he lost half his offensive line to the draft, and then the next year he didn't do so well. No shit. But I looked back at some of the interceptions. There were a couple where I didn't like the ball placement. I didn't like what he was doing. Now, that could be offensive line issues, which they did have this year. Despite winning the national championship, they had some issues on the offensive line. And, when you start, I believe there were 2 freshmen on either tackle starting. Well, therein lies part of the problem. You've got freshmen playing on the offensive line. Not saying freshmen can't be great. Just saying, statistically, you'll see freshmen, they go down the scale a little bit compared to a senior who's been playing in the big games for 4 years. Now, like I said, he had a few problems with that. I went back a little bit further and watched some more tape. Still questionable, I think, on the ball placement. Like I said, he's more of a distributor, which is the kind of quarterback I personally would like. I need you to be able to hand the ball off, and if I need you, you can run an option. If I need you to, you can scamper for 4 or 5 yards. Mostly, I just need you to be able to get the ball out to my receivers. So, would I take him in the first round? Yes. Would I take him if I'm the Browns? No. Why not? The Browns desperately need a quarterback. However, I don't think he'll be there. It's not I don't think you should take him at all. Hang on, I got a pitch. Sorry, you guys are sitting in my lap. I like this chair. It's comfy. I'm not saying you shouldn't take him at all. I'm saying in the case of the Browns, the first pick overall, I don't think Watson's the number 1 pick. Am I saying who's the 4th? We think it's them, the Niners. Niners could take him. Who picks behind the Niners? I forget. But let's say the Niners take him at 2. Fine. That's a good spot. I just don't think he's number 1. It's the same argument I thought, after the draft, where I sat and listened to some of the people from the Rams talk, and they're like, yeah, we went and drafted Jared Goff. I'm like, oh, he's going to start. He's going to sit behind Case Keenum. What? You drafted him first overall and he's going to sit the bench? What was the point of drafting him then? Pick something else. Well, we needed a quarterback. Okay. But there were quarterbacks available in the 2nd and 3rd round that you could have taken. And that's what I think the Browns should do. I think, number 1, you take Myles Garrett, you get a great defensive end who can absolutely play. I've watched a lot of tape on this kid. He's very good. Not a lot of question marks. There's a couple little, but I'm not worried about it. It's the same thing with Clowney. People are like, well, there are question marks. There's going to be question marks on everybody. It's the limited number. There are a couple little things that I want to check on before I go ahead and tell you what I'm thinking. Which a lot of people are probably going, oh, he doesn't know. He didn't watch tape. I've watched quite a bit of tape. There's a couple little things that I want to look in at before I go ahead and give my actual profile on him. But if I'm picking it first, that's a solid first-round pick. I let Watson go. I'm assuming he'll probably go to the Niners. If the Niners don't take Watson, the rumor is they'll take Kaiser, and that's a mistake. Now, if you're in the 4th round, and the Niners still don't have a quarterback, go ahead and take him. I mean, I wouldn't take him, but have at it. He fits their prototype. Really tall, kind of runs, hair trigger, can't throw the ball more than 8 yards. It's falls right underneath their usual kind of quarterback. You know, generally doesn't feel pressure, even though he'll get sacked about 90 times. Loves to throw interceptions, loves to throw them in triple, double, and triple coverage. Has a cannon of an arm, but has zero accuracy. You know, that kind of thing. The Niners have a tendency to draft that. You know, like Kaepernick. I'm going to pull the ball. Hang on. Can I get a draft tracker on this, or they're just going to give me a bunch of fucking mock drafts? Watch, it's not going to know what I'm talking about. Oh, cool. It is. They do have that set up. Awesome. Okay. Rounds. Should be here. Okay. So, one, we already said the Browns. I think they should take Myles Garrett. I'm going to do like the first 12, 15 picks, somewhere in there. I think Myles Garrett's a solid choice. If I'm in charge of the Browns, that's who I take. Niners. Without knowing exactly, now again, this is why I don't like to do this early. Without knowing who's available free agency and who they re-sign, let's say they take a quarterback, Watson be a great choice. 3 is the Bears. Now, I could see Watson maybe falling to 3. 3 would be the max. I don't see the Jags getting him. If Watson's there for the Bears, you take him. If not, I'd say the Bears should take... They've got him taking a tackle in one of the mock drafts I saw, which I think is a mistake. The guy they have him taking... Okay, so it's one of those people where they should take this guy. Well, why? Because he's really good. No, the reason you want him to take him is because he's from Alabama. No. Take someone who's qualified, not because you like the college they went to. The Bears could take a wide receiver. They could use one more guy. I wouldn't do that with the third overall pick, but they could. Linebackers, you've still got the rookie you got last year from Georgia, Jenkins. Or not Jenkins. Who they get? I forget his name. No, you're good there. Get another corner. Get Tre'Davious White. Be reaching a little bit, I think, but it'd be a solid choice. He's also a good kick returner. Bears get Tre'Davious White. That'd be a good choice. The Jags need a quarterback desperately. I could see them taking that Trubisky kid, maybe. I could see it. Well, folks, they just got Doug Marrone. But they have Coughlin. Yeah, I see him taking that Trubisky kid out of North Carolina. The Titans from the Rams have 5. Titans. Let's see here. The Titans got a solid quarterback in Mariota. You got a great run game. If I'm them, I take an offensive lineman. Either offensive or defensive. Trying to think. Linebackers, they drafted Miles Jack last year. D-line, maybe a D-tackle. Backfield, one more corner wouldn't hurt him. Safeties, I think they got a safety. They got a rookie or 1-year safety. So, no, I think, yeah, offensive line would be a good choice. The Jets, let's see, what don't the Jets need? What don't the Jets need? Let's see here. Now, that seems backwards to people who are hearing me say that. They're going, you mean what do they need? No, I mean what don't they need? Let's see here. They don't need D-line. Good there. You've got 90 of them. Linebackers they need. Safeties they need. Corners they need. Quarterback they need. They need another wide receiver. They're good at running back because they got Forte. Wouldn't hurt to get another guy, but I'd wait until like the 4th round. I could see them taking Kaiser. I mean, I wouldn't, but I could see them doing it. I'll say at 6, the Jets take Kaiser. I'm assuming that nobody trades. At 7, the Chargers. Chargers got Bosa last year. I think they need a corner or a safety. Lean on that defense. You need defense. 8, the Panthers. Panthers need everything at this point, I would say. Their offensive line looked horrible. You're good at wide receiver. You don't need any more. Pretty good at quarterback, despite what I think about Cam. I think he's a great guy. I just don't know about his actual ability. Trying to think, is there a running back on his last year? I don't know. Let's say they don't need a running back for the sake of argument. I would go offensive line or corner. The Bengals. The Bengals at 9. Well, the Bengals need a linebacker. They could use another linebacker. They could use another wide receiver. Wouldn't hurt. They got Russell. They got Will Jackson the third. They've got Thug Jones, who needs to be banned from the league. Safeties, you've got Iloka. And who's their free safety? Their free safety might be Iloka. D-line, they got Billings, who can come back. You've got solid D-line, I personally think. I think maybe one more defensive tackle, but I wouldn't take that at what am I, at 9? Yeah, I wouldn't take that at 9. Wide receiver at 9. I think who would be there. I'm not even sure. So I haven't looked at the projections that people make. I don't look at it this early. I wait until after the combine, either just before the combine or after the combine. I could see the Panthers, not the Panthers, the Bengals taking what's that kid from East Carolina's name? He looked really good in the Senior Bowl. I got to rewatch the Senior Bowl. But from what the highlights I saw, the kid looked good, like damn good. Yeah, I'd take either a receiver or offensive line. The Bills need quarterback. Tyrod's done, from what I've heard. I think Cardale could be your starter. You could start him. He's got a solid arm. He's got decent mobility. The Saints at 11. So well, the Bills. Sorry, I didn't finish that thought. O-line, quarterback-wise, again, if there's somebody at quarterback like a Kaiser or something that you know you want, take him. But if not, I'm assuming he's going to be gone. I'm going to assume the Jets take him for the sake of argument. Let's see. You got decent corners, despite what your defense looked like. That's because you had a horrible coordinator. D-line's okay. Pick up an extra guy, wouldn't hurt you. Linebackers, you have him in a linebacker, but he was hurt this year in Raglan, so you could use him. Wide receiver-wise, you've got Watkins coming off injury, the ankle. The ankle was bugging him again this year. I think he had surgery on it. You've got, what's his name? Shit, I can't come up with it. Percy Harvin. Harvin came back. I don't know if he's actually officially back or if he just came back for the end of the year and then went to screw it on and retire again. He was dealing with some concussions last I heard. So you could have him. Yeah, I'd take a receiver. Either a receiver or O-line. Saints at 11. The Saints at 11. Well, here's the big question the Saints have to ask themselves. I heard a question asked to their quarterback in Drew Brees of how many more years he thinks he's got. He's like, I think I got a few. I think he may have even said 3 at some point. Years left. I don't agree with you. I think you're wrong. I think his arm is starting to go. So, you got to ask yourself the serious question of, is there a quarterback that you like? For instance, if for some reason Trubisky is there at 11 and they like him, now I haven't seen much, there's not a lot of tape on the kid, so I'm not sold on him. Despite what the egotistical dumbasses at ESPN say, or Fox. I like to do my own research. I'm not in love with the kid, but let's say he blows it up at the combine. He looks good in his, what do they call that? The day where they show up. No, I can't come up with it. The training day where they show up at your university and let's say he blows everybody out of the water and looks impressive. And he falls to the Saints and the Saints love him. Then take the kid. If not, look for somebody else. But you got to ask the question of who's going to be your quarterback of the future at this point. Quarterback class next year, I hear, is better supposedly. Again, I don't. That could be a solid question being asked by the Saints. If you don't do that, offensive line would be a good choice there at 11. Defensive back they could use. Their receivers were okay last year. One more wouldn't hurt you. And you desperately need a running back. Despite what Ingram did this year, you really could use another guy to help back him up or to start over him. Now you go to 12 with the Browns. I'll go to 14 where the Colts are. So you go to 12 with the Browns. Now, once again, I'm assuming that you don't trade. I would look at who wants 12 and what they're willing to give me, but that's just me. At 12, that's that quarterback question again. Okay, so let's say I took Garrett. I don't have a quarterback. I want one. I don't take one at 12 for a lot of reasons. One being, I'm going to assume the top 3 quarterbacks based on the information that I have heard and a little bit of research that I've done so far. The top 3 quarterbacks for the first round are Trubisky, who I'm not in love with, Kaiser, who I think is overrated, and Watson. Well, I already said I assume all 3 of those guys are gone. So at 12, there's no quarterback that I'm wanting. Not at 12. Now, the Browns are dumb, so they might actually take a guy. But I think there you either go offensive line, because you desperately need it, or you take a defensive back, another position you do need, at 12. Now, you've said that about 9 times now. If the positions they need. Now, the Browns need just about everything. Receivers, you're pretty much set at. Draft-wise, I might pick up one more guy out of free agency. There's a veteran that I like. I haven't looked at who's available yet at free agent. Well, I'll do that in a minute. But at 12, I either look to trade. We're going, like I said, on the assumption that I don't do trades. Take an offensive lineman. The quarterback solution, I personally would wait until round. What did I say? They have a second round or late second round? Either late second round or early third, I'd look for my quarterback. And I would look for 1 of 2 guys. Tommy Armstrong from Nebraska. Or Josh Dobbs from Tennessee. They both have decent arms. In the case of Dobbs, I think if it goes to arm strength, I'd give it to Dobbs over Armstrong. When it comes to mobility, I give it to Armstrong. He's a little bit quicker. But they both have very good vision. They're both solid in the pocket. Now, a lot of people are going to be laughing at me going, Armstrong didn't prove it during the games. I liked the tape I saw for a solid backup behind RG3 to learn and possible start. Now, Dobbs, you could probably start day 1 and be fine. I would personally be looking for a guy that is decent, maybe has a couple questions on, mobility. Someone who can move, but it's not, shifty and fast, like Dobbs. He's not real quick. Not saying he can't move. He's got some mobility. He's just not, 4.3 speed. And I'd put him behind RG3 and let him learn from him about the mobility and the use of his arm and being able to get people open. Now we go to 13 with the Cardinals. The Cardinals, they have the same question at quarterback. Again, I'm not going to go over that because I don't think there's anybody available at 13. But they did get rid of a weapon at receiver. And I think after this year that Larry Fitzgerald might be done. So you got to think receiver. Defensive back, you're pretty much set at. They could use a linebacker. Take a linebacker at 13 and 14 with the Colts, which would be my final pick. For the sake of argument, just going over for here. 14 Colts. I take an offensive line. Drafted a pretty good center last year. Now you need another lineman to help protect Luck because that was a big problem this year. And that's that. Those are my just rough thoughts for drafting people. Now I'm going to go to free agency, which will be coming up here pretty soon, I believe. This is coming from Spot Track. Spot Track. The other information, when I went over Garoppolo's stats, that was from ESPN, or Fox. It's from Fox. I went to ESPN first, then I went to Fox. The picks I got from the Cleveland Browns website. Everything else pretty much came off the top of my head. So, yeah. Okay. So, top free agents from SpotTrack.com. Top free agents. All right, we'll go over them this way. I'll tell you whether or not I think they'll go, and if I think they'll leave, I'll tell you what team I think will get them. If not, I'll tell you where they stay. Here's the first guy on the list is quarterback Kirk Cousins. I think he stays in Washington. I think that'd be a good choice. I think under the thingy. Damn it, what's the thing called? Fuck. I want to say trademark, and that's not it. There are people yelling at me, I'm sure. The thing. Franchise tag. Couldn't come up with that word. Don't know why. I think when he played under the franchise tag this last year that he proved that he can be that quarterback. He can be that guy. I think Cousins should stay in Washington if they let him go, which is a big if, I personally think. I could see Kirk going to the Texans. I'm sure they're almost out of money, but quarterback you need. The Giants, the Jets. Wide receiver, Alshon Jeffrey from Chicago. I think Chicago should try and pick him back up. I hear from what I've heard through the grapevine, he doesn't want to play for Chicago anymore. So I see Alshon Jeffrey possibly going to I could see him he can go to the Cardinals. I can see Arizona picking him up. The Jets, since apparently they like people who used to play for Chicago. Pittsburgh could use him, but I doubt they'd actually sign him. Jermaine Johnson, corner from the LA Rams. Now, the Rams could re-sign Tremaine. If not, I could see him sitting around for a minute. I could eventually see him signing with the Dolphins. Fitzpatrick. I don't see Fitzpatrick. Anybody picking him up. Vincent Jackson. Vincent Jackson again. I don't know if anybody would pick that guy up. He's just because of his age. He's 34 years old. That's gotta be part of an impact here. Both Fitzpatrick and Jackson are 34 years old. Both of those guys are up there in age. Fitzpatrick showed me that I personally think he's lost a little bit compared to last year. Part of it was also the Jets suck, but that could be part of the problem. Vincent Jackson again, I think age. If not, Tampa could re-sign him. Otherwise, I see him sitting on the free agent market for a while. Calais Campbell. I think that the Arizona Cardinals would be dumb not to re-sign him. Now, I hear, from what I heard, sounds like that's what their plan is, but if they didn't, I don't know who wouldn't want Campbell. Eric Berry. Eric Berry is 28, he's from Kansas City. Last I heard, he doesn't want to play under the franchise tag. He wants a new deal. Now, from the very few things I've heard coming out of Kansas City, sounds like that they might be able to reach a deal. Brandon Carr at Dallas. If I'm Dallas, I let go of Brandon Carr. And I see him sitting on the open market for a little bit. He's got some injury issues. JPP, Jason Pierre-Paul. He's 28 years old. He plays, of course, for the Giants. I think the Giants could re-sign him. If the Giants don't re-sign him, I could see him going to the Redskins. I could see him going to, who else needs defensive end help? The Dolphins. DeMarcus Ware, 34, he's at Denver. Now, I think if he decides that he wants to keep playing, that Denver should resign him. I don't think otherwise that he's going to go anywhere. Lawrence Timmons from Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh should let him go, and I don't think anybody will pick him up. Andrew Whitworth from Cincinnati. He's 35. Again, I think they should let go of him, and I don't know if anybody will pick him up. If someone were to pick him up, I think what teams you'd end up with: the Giants, the Jets, and possibly Miami. Robert Mathis retired. Julius Peppers. Peppers plays for Green Bay. He's going to be a free agent. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear about him retiring. The guy's 37 years old. I mean, he can still play, but I don't know. If Peppers decides to keep playing, Green Bay should probably resign him. Pierre Garçon, Washington, 30. I think he stays in Washington. Jordan Cameron, tight end for Miami. Not to be confused with Cameron Jordan. Actually, I don't know. Cameron Jordan might be a free agent. Not entirely sure. Currently plays with Miami. I don't know if Miami will keep him. If Miami chooses to let him go, I could see him going to the Bears, actually. Deshaun Jackson, wide receiver for Washington. I see Washington re-signing Deshaun. He did some decent things this year. Jabal Sheard, defensive end, New England. Well, Jabal Sheard plays for New England. New England has this insane turnover rate. So I think he'll be gone, and he'll probably end up playing for like the Jets. Will probably take him. No way the Jets, but they'll put him back at linebacker. Prince Amukamara, cornerback for Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville lets go of him, and I think he sits on the free agent market. Luke Yokel, offensive lineman for Jacksonville. Jacksonville resigns him. T.J. Lang, lineman for Green Bay. Now, I have heard rumblings that Green Bay might let him go. I hope they resign him. I think he's a good kid. I think he's a solid player. Deion Jordan, defensive end, Miami. I'm hearing that, last I heard, again, people hear me say that and they go, well, where'd you hear this? I hear rumblings from certain areas. I hear that they might let him go. Martellus Bennett. If we go off the information that we have seen and heard from other outlets, as well as watching the Super Bowl, I will not be surprised if Martellus Bennett is cut from New England. Then I'm not entirely sure where he'll land. Might end up with the Jets. Nick Perry, outside linebacker for Green Bay. I think Green Bay would be smart to re-sign him. Matt Khalil for Minnesota. I believe they'll get him back too. Kenny Britt with LA. You never know. I mean, it's LA. I could see them resigning him. 4.5 mil. It's a little high, but whatever. Vince Wilfork. Vince is unclear on his current standing. He doesn't know if he wants to retire. Perfectly honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if he does retire. If not, I'm Houston, I resign him. Dematopeko, I let go. Glenn Dorsey, San Francisco, I let him go. Both those guys sit on the open market. Trent Cole, Indianapolis, I let him go. Sebastian Vollmer, New England, I let him go. Markevius Mingo, outside linebacker for New England. I could see New England holding on to him for another year. I think he's a good player. Rondo McClain. I could see Dallas keeping him. Captain Munnerlyn for Minnesota. Minnesota will probably keep Captain Munnerlyn, but if they let him go, I won't be too surprised. If he ends up going somewhere, he'll probably go back to Carolina. Case Keenum with LA. I think LA will probably let him go, but I think he'll have a decent career somewhere else. May that be, but I could see Kansas City picking up Case Keenum. That would solve your backup quarterback problem. Godfuck Shirtless. Godstood Shirtless. Tampa Bay. Bye-bye. He's horrible. Jermaine Gresham, tight end for Arizona. Arizona has a couple other tight ends. They might still keep him, but I wouldn't. Andre Smith, he plays for... Crap, no, I lost my spot. Minnesota. I could see Minnesota keeping him. Malcolm Smith for Oakland. Probably keep him. Oakland's got a good system going there. You probably still draft another inside guy, but they've got good bones. Malcolm Smith's a solid inside linebacker. Sean fucking Hill. 37, plays for Minnesota. I've got two questions for him. One, do you want to keep playing? You're 37 years old. Two, the next question is, okay, so let's say you do want to keep playing. Who do you think is going to take you? Nobody. I think you should retire. Now here comes a fun one. Justin Gilbert. He plays for Pittsburgh. No, he doesn't. Pittsburgh cut him. I don't know what happens to Justin Gilbert because Pitt needed defensive backs, and for them to let you go, I put that as a mark against you as a player because that's a position that Pittsburgh needs. Phil Dawson. Hang on, I'm going to lean back. Yeah, this chair reclines. Let me open that real quick. There. I say everyone knows we're getting cut off. Yeah, well. There we go. Ta-da! It's much more comfortable. I don't have like a good table or anything to set you up in the middle of moving out, so I have a bunch of stuff on my bar that I'm trying to sort through. Phil Dawson. Click off this a second. Phil Dawson. Now, the guy is only 100 years old. I'm kidding, he's 42. In San Francisco, I don't know if he'll stay or if he'll retire. At 42, you got to start contemplating your retirement. Of course, then again, you are a kicker, so you don't have to worry about it as much. Chance Warmack, guard for Tennessee. He was taken in the 2013 draft. I don't know what happens to him, to be honest with you. There we go. Sorry, I had something stuck in my throat. I don't know what Tennessee does there. They had a decent offensive line last year. I think they keep him. Be smart. Stephon Gilmore, corner for Buffalo. I don't know if you keep Gilmore. I mean, I could see him doing it, but at the same time, I could also see him letting him go. In that case, he probably goes to the Jets. Chris Baker, defensive end for Washington. I see let him go. Again, unknown as to where his landing spot would be. Chris Conte, safety for Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay keeps him. They could use a safety. He's pretty good. Tyson Alualu, defensive tackle for Jacksonville. I see them letting go of Tyson Alualu. Fun name to say. Nate Allen, free safety for Oakland. I see them cutting him. Morris Claiborne, corner for Dallas. I think you re-sign Claiborne. You sign him to like a 2-3 year deal. Not worth a lot of money. Not some huge deal where you're going to be stuck if he gets hurt again. Just, like 3 years at, what's he worth now? I got it at $3 million. So give him 3 years at $3.2 million. Something like that. 3 years at $3 million. Not too bad. Jonathan Babinow, 35, tackle for Atlanta. I don't know about him either. He might retire. If he decides to stay, I see Atlanta signing him back. Charles Johnson, defensive end for Carolina. I see Carolina taking him back. Paul Kruger plays outside linebacker for New Orleans. I see him staying. Steven Hauschka, kicker for Seattle. He's 31 years old. I see Seattle retaining him. Don Terry Poe, defensive tackle. Kansas City. Kansas City needs him. Desperately. I'm kidding. No. I think they keep him, though. Danny Woodhead for LA. I see you cut him for a lot of reasons. One being he's damaged goods. Two being he's 32 years old. Chad Greenway, 34, plays for Minnesota. I could see Minnesota resigning him, but at the same time, I could also see him calling it quits. Jared Cook for Green Bay. Cut him. He didn't do you any good. I mean, he ended up helping you in the playoffs, but other than that, he didn't help you at all. I could see them getting rid of him. Again, they could re-sign him. I'd get rid of him. Andre Branch for Miami. I could see Branch staying in Miami. I think that's a comfortable gig for him. Anquan Bolden plays for Detroit. I have heard rumblings that Anquan Bolden might retire. If not, I'd like to see him stay in Detroit. That's a decent gig for him. He doesn't have to worry about. Unlike other teams, if he were to go somewhere else, you don't have a lot of competition receiver-wise, and you're not going to get used up so quickly as opposed to, like, let's say if he went back to Baltimore. In Detroit, they don't need you that badly. You're a great veteran presence, and we do use you in games. However, it's not one of those where it's like, oh, he's my number 2 guy, and I have to go to him all the time. He's like number 3 or 4. So I could see him staying here. Matt Schaub, what a bum. No one cares where he ends up. If Atlanta keeps him, great. If not, no one will pick him up. Anthony Fasano. Jesus Christ, he's still playing? He's 32. I knew that already. Plays for Tennessee. Huh. I could see Fasano retiring. Key Mayers. I see Indiana re-signing him. Keenan Robinson. Robinson's gone. DJ Hayden. I see Oakland cutting him. Jaleel Adahi. Or Adai. Sorry, it's Adai. LAC. Who the fuck is that? Oh, the Chargers. My brain read that and went, who the fuck is that? That's right, LA Chargers. I see them getting rid of him. Bradley McDougal. I don't even know who the fuck that is. I see him probably getting cut. Kamir Aiken, Baltimore. He's their return guy. He'll probably stay. Ron Leary for Dallas. He'll stay. Reamers for Carolina. I could see them letting go of him. Worilo. Oh, he's still in Atlanta? I see Paul Worilo taking the free agent market. Avery Jones for Jacksonville. I could see him hitting the free agent market. Here's one for you. Matt McGloin. Plays for Oakland. See him hitting the free agent market too. I don't know if he'll go anywhere, but he'll probably hit the free agent market. Daryl Smith. I see him hitting free agency. Terrence Newman. Please, for fuck's sake, retire. Darius Butler, Indianapolis. He got a pretty decent deal in Indianapolis. I could see him staying. If they let him go, I could see him going to Minnesota, actually. Decent nickel guy. Stephen Tulloch. Please, for the love of God. Philadelphia let him go and let Detroit pick him back up. That was a huge hurting point for us last year. The fact that we didn't have him anymore. So it'd be nice to see us pick him back up. Sean Spence for Tennessee. I believe they'll probably let him hit the free agent market. LaFell. I don't know what Cincinnati will do. You've got Boyd. so why don't you just let him go? Michael Floyd for New England. I see them letting him go. Mike Adams in Indianapolis. I see him hitting the free agent market. Vernon Davis. I could see him hitting the free agent market. Washington might resign him, but I see that as a very, very improbable maybe. Chris Long with New England. He finally got his ring. I could see him retiring. 31. Or New England could resign him. If he hits free agency, who takes him? That's one of those big questions that you got to ask when I'm going over this is, okay, if he goes to free agency, who wants him? I can't think of really anybody. So I can see New England keeping him. He's a decent pass rusher off the edge. He's also that veteran presence on that end. Nolan Carroll, I see you getting rid of him. Chris Chester, please, for the love of God, get rid of that guy. He's 35 years old. 34, sorry, 34. Yeah, oh, he plays for Atlanta. I'm sorry, I thought he still played at Washington. Does he start? That's a sad point where you guys hear me say that. You're like, didn't you look it up? I could see him keeping him. I don't know. They could use another guard, I personally think. Their offensive line was really good, but one more guard wouldn't hurt you. Akeem Dent plays in Houston. I could see them keeping him. I could also see him letting him go. Byron Bell, Tennessee probably keeps him. E.J. Manuel, hey! That name rings a bell. Huh. Why do I know who that is? I have a feeling he played quarterback. But who did he play for? I'm trying to think. Oh, wait, that's right. He played for the bench. But before that, he started. Who did he start for? I wonder, who could he have started for? I see a blue jersey. Into red? Could have been Buffalo. Indeed it is. I'm fucking with you. I knew that already. E.J. Manuel. Well, we know what's going to happen with him. Buffalo's going to let him go. And I don't know where he'll go. But he might sit on the free agency market for a while. Barry Church, free agent Dallas. I see Dallas resigning Barry Church. Jarvis Jones at Pittsburgh. I could see him taking Jarvis back. Frosty Rucker, defensive tackle for Arizona. Let go of him. Drake Kirkpatrick. Oh, he's still in Cincinnati? I didn't know he was even still around. Yeah, I did get rid of him. He's not doing you any good. Alan Branch, New England. He'll probably retire now that he's got another ring. He's got 2 now. Myers, Tampa Bay, tight end. He can stay there probably. Ted Ginn for Carolina. He'll probably stay. Melvin Ingram. I personally get rid of him. I don't know what LA will do. Oh, the Chargers. Kendall Wright with Tennessee. I could see getting rid of him. Chandler Jones, Arizona. I think they keep him. D'Angelo Williams at Pittsburgh. He's got a pretty cushy deal there. Rashad Johnson, safety, Blaine Gabbert. Both of them are gone. Now I'm going to go down the list. Riley Reeve, get rid of him. Dante Hightower, stays. Dante Jones, stays. Stephon P, gone. Cordero Patterson. I mean, it is Minnesota. They might keep him. I'd get rid of him. Red Ellison, keep him. That's Minnesota. Stephen Charles, for Christ's sake, Detroit, get rid of him. Percy Harvin, Buffalo, always his deal's up. I don't know what to do with him. He might actually retire again. AJ Boye, I don't know what Houston's going to do with him. They might let him go. Zach Lyon at Minnesota should stay. Terrell Pryor, I'd re-sign him for 1 more year. He did a pretty good job, actually, considering. Reggie Bush in Buffalo, don't nobody give a fuck what happens to him. James Harrison, for Christ's sake, retire. Manti Te'o will be up at the Chargers. I could see the Chargers letting him go. I like to see him keep him. He holds a special place in my heart. So does his girlfriend. Sorry, that was an unnecessary jab at Manti. I love that kid. Geno Smith. Well, we know what's going to happen to his broken jaw, piece of shit. Courtney Upshaw. I see Atlanta keeping him. Quan Short, I think, gets cut. Eric Weems probably cut. Dan Orlovsky. Oh, thank God his deal's up. Please, 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 please don't resign him. Please don't resign him. Maybe with Detroit. Please don't. Don Lobach. Long snapper for Detroit. For Christ's sake, get rid of him. Le'Veon Bell at Pitt. Well, we all pretty much know what's going to happen there. I would imagine they're going to keep it. If not, you'd be pretty stupid to let it go. LeGarrette Blount. I don't know what's going to happen with LeGarrette Blount. I've heard rumors they might let him go. Dwight Freeney might retire. If not, cool, he can stay in Atlanta. Whitner. I hear Whitner might retire. Margus Hunt for Cincinnati. They'll probably let him go. There's many names I'm going past here. I realized that I've been going over this for like 20 minutes. Jake Long from Minnesota. I don't know what'll happen to him, to be honest with you, at all. Oh, there's one. Eddie Lacy. From what I have heard, Eddie Lacy will be let go by Green Bay. That's what I heard. I heard that they want to be done with him. So, very interested to see if that's true. If it is, where is it going to go? Matt Asiata with Minnesota. They might resign him. They might let him go. I'm not entirely sure there either. Robert Blanton. Love the kid. He'll probably be let go. Greg Toiler. Please God, retire. Benjamin Jelani. No one cares where he goes. He plays with the Jets. Christian Ponder. San Francisco. He might stay there, actually. Larry Warford for Detroit. I'd like to see them keep Warford. I like him. Dexter McCluster. He might stay with the Chargers. Who knows? He's a running back. Matthews, Jordan Todman, Cam Thomas. No, I can see him keeping him. Brandon Spikes with Buffalo. No one knows what's going to happen with him because he currently is suspended. I don't know how long he's suspended for, though. Perry Riley with Oakland. He'll probably stay there. Donald Butler with Miami. He'll probably stay there. Another linebacker. He'll probably Wilson will probably go. Travis Jenkins will probably stay. Joy Bell needs to, for Christ's sake, get the fuck off Detroit. TJ Yates in Miami. He might actually stay there. Get a solid backup. Patrick DeMarco, I see him possibly staying with Atlanta. Christian Michael, get the fuck out of the league, for Christ's sake. How many times can you get cut by one team? Kevin Moore, please, for the love of God, let Detroit sign that kid back. He's very good. J.J. Wilcox, I could see him staying in Dallas. Logan Ryan will probably stay in New England. Of course, I think I'm in New England. That's one of those where I never know. I'm like, oh, they'll keep him. They cut him. You're like, oh, I don't know. Duke Ianacho, I'd like to see him stay with Washington. Devin Stills in Houston, I'd like to see him stay. Niall Davis is with Kansas City again. I'd like to see him possibly stay there. If he's not, then I wouldn't mind seeing Green Bay pick him up. Sam Barrington's in New Orleans. He'll probably stay there. Deion Sims, I don't know if Miami will keep him or not. Jelani Jenkins, again, another one. I think Miami will keep him, but I don't know. Alex Okafor, I'd like to see Arizona keep him. Ryan Nassib will probably stay with the Giants as their backup. Shamarko Thomas could stay at Pittsburgh, but again, I could also see him cutting him. Landry Jones is probably done in Pittsburgh. I would imagine they get rid of him. Levine Tulolo, I'm not sure what will happen with Tulolo. They might keep him. Juszczyk will probably be gone. Devin Taylor should stay in Detroit. Denard Robinson. Is he a free agent? He's going to be a free agent. Well, what do you do with that? What do you do with Denard Robinson? Do you keep him? Do you cut him? I don't know. I mean, do you keep him around just because it's funny? At this point, you got to ask that question. Do you keep him around because it's funny? I don't know. I would let him go, but then again, where's he gonna go? I don't fucking know. Stephon Taylor probably gets let go. Adea Abushi probably stays in Houston. Kenny Stills will probably let go in Miami. In that case, I don't know where he goes after that. Micah Hyde. Green Bay should keep Micah Hyde. He's a good kid. He's a hard worker. Latavius Murray in Oakland, I'm pretty sure they're going to keep him. I can't get over that. I'm sorry. That's funny. Armani Bryant, for Christ's sake, Detroit, get rid of him. I can't get over that he's still around. I forgot about him. And that's that. Oh, Devin Hester. Rumor is Devin Hester's going to retire. Okay. One last thing before we go. I know, I've been going on for like an hour and a half. Actually, hang on, look. An hour and 7 minutes.